Okay, now let me ask you a personal question about your family, okay? You have anybody, any of the kids, anybody is working for minimum wage? Do you know what minimum wage is? What do you think it ought to be? Let's talk about that with Russell Smoldon of B3. All right, now listen, you've been here before.
Yes, sir.
But some of the folks weren't paying attention.
Yes,
so
sir.
tell us what B3 is.
B3 Strategies is a political consulting company. I do lobbying at the federal, state, and local level. Represent corporate clients primarily to kind of work them through the governmental process.
Well, one of the things that people are talking about in government and in fast food restaurants and in a lot of places, the minimum wage. What does B3 think of raising the minimum wage?
Well, the federal minimum wage was established in 1938, actually under the Fair Labor Standards Act.
What was it then?
It was 25 cents. 25 cents. Which under inflationary practices would be about $4.20 today.
Yeah.
But the other important part of that was it wasn't just a wage issue. It was child labor law issues. It was a 40-hour work week. It was the establishment of overtime pay. It was part of Roosevelt's package to get the nation running again back in 38. So what has happened since then is that we've moved the federal minimum wage up. But the most interesting thing is states have now gotten into the act and created minimum wages. In fact, 29 states have higher minimum wages than the federal government. The federal minimum wage is $7.65. Arizona actually has a minimum wage of $8.05.
And some states have already established a $15.
Well, actually, it's interesting. If you read the materials, it'll tell you that New York, San Francisco, Seattle, and Los Angeles have all established a $15. What they've actually done is they've established a path to $15. Mm-hmm. So I think the highest in the country is San Francisco, currently at like $10.10. But the interesting thing that happens in that argument is that people don't understand how small of a population it is that are working for the minimum wage.
How small?
It's a relatively less than 10% kind of number of the overall workers. So like in a city of like Seattle, where they have a goal to reach the $15 number, you're talking about 1,500 workers in the city of Seattle who are at or below the minimum wage.
But the argument against a minimum wage in that vicinity anyway,
right, is
that small businesses will close. They won't be able to operate. What does B3 say?
Well, I think what will happen is what's already happening. I can just tell you this, for example, McDonald's, Burger King, the fast food guys who are really good at figuring out how to cut costs and make money on their products are developing kiosks. So you will walk into a McDonald's and you will walk up to a kiosk, an ATM, for example, and you will order what it is you want, and there will be no human there to greet you or to take your order.
You mean like department stores?
Like department stores, like Sprinkles Cupcakes at Camelback and Scottsdale, for example. They have an ATM.
But a businessman, a businesswoman, owners have the right to do that. They also have the right to raise the prices of the product commensurate with whatever the minimum wage is.
Exactly. As long as that product can maintain, so that whatever you raise the price to, you can actually get that price for it. So the bigger issue in my mind is, so we haven't raised the minimum wage on the federal level since 2009. So President Obama had suggested in 2013 that we raise it to $9. There was a bill introduced by Tom Harkin from Iowa that we raise it to $10 that year. We haven't addressed that issue. Many states already have a COLA in place that start bringing it up. And in most of the cases, when you're talking about doubling the minimum wages, which is what you're doing, you cause widespread panic. Now, in the political business, that's how you toss that chum onto the water to get people to feed on it. And then when you raise it from $7.65 to $9, you think, oh wow, we beat it back from 15. So I think the real strategy that will occur is that it will go up, but not nearly at the $15 rate. You just can't maintain that kind of rate in a town like Phoenix.
But if it does go up, if it goes up to $9 or $10,
right,
doesn't the country prosper as a result of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think what happens is you have more dollars in the economy. There are certain businesses that won't hire an extra employee. We've seen employment rise, starting to go down. overall since the Great Recession. But there is kind of mixed numbers in terms of what an actual raise in the minimum wage would do to the economy. I think there's enough elasticity right now that you could raise it $1 or $2 and really not impact the overall economy. You would actually give more spending power to those folks in that lower wage. And remember, the minimum wage was really just established originally not as a living wage, but as an entry-level job wage. So if you kind of eliminate a bunch of entry-level jobs, it makes it more difficult for those folks who either don't have a high school diploma, don't have a college diploma, to start out somewhere.
But if you're unemployed, it is a living wage.
Oh, absolutely it is. You bet. And tied with the earned income tax credit and some other things that are going on in the economy, absolutely it's a living wage.
Listen, if this went by too fast for you, contact Russell Smoldon at B3. And if you're dissatisfied with what the minimum wage is now, remember, once it was 25 cents an hour,
That's right.
be happy.
That's right.
This is Pat McMahon.